Hey, welcome back. Today, we're diving into a really pivotal rite of passage from our source material, the Ceremony of 12. It's this major event that promises a life of security and purpose, but you gotta wonder at what cost. So let's start with a little thought experiment. Just imagine for a second that you're 12 years old. But instead of daydreaming about all the things you could be when you grow up, your entire future is decided for you. A committee literally hands you your lifelong career. I mean, how would that even feel?
Okay, so let's get right into it. We meet Jonas. He's an 11, and for him, the month of December isn't just about the holidays. No, it's about the end of his childhood as he knows it. He is just filled with this deep, gnawing anxiety about the upcoming Ceremony of 12, which is, without a doubt, the single biggest event of his life.
For Jonas, the future is just this big, scary blank page. While his parents kind of look back on their own ceremonies with this sense of calm, like it was all just meant to be, Jonas can't see any clear path for himself. And that not knowing, it's completely overwhelming. So, to really get a grip on Jonas's anxiety, we've got to look at his father's experience. His memory of the ceremony shows us exactly how this whole system is supposed to work, and it's why his own confidence is such a stark contrast to his son's fear. And this is where it gets really interesting, right? The difference is just night and day. Jonas's father had this really obvious talent. He spent all his volunteer time at the nurturing centers simply because he loved taking care of the new children. For him, getting his assignment wasn't a shock, it was just confirmation. But Jonas, he hasn't found that one thing he's passionate about. He feels totally adrift, and that's really where all this fear is coming from. You see, you gotta understand, the Ceremony of 12 doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's actually the grand finale in a long series of ceremonies that mark every single step of growing up. You get your name at 1, you get a bike at 9. Every year brings you one step closer to this final huge transition into a life with a purpose. And that quote right there, it just perfectly captures the ideal in this community. The best life is one without any suspense, without the stress of having to choose. The whole idea is that your natural talents are supposed to line up so perfectly with a job that your future feels totally secure, long before it's even announced. So how in the world is this massive, life-altering decision actually made? It's not like drawing a name out of a hat, that's for sure. Nope, it's the final result of years of incredibly careful and honestly kind of creepy observation. Right, so at the heart of everything is this idea of the assignment. And what's wild is that the community sees the act of assigning, the choosing itself, as the most important job there is. The elders have this huge responsibility to find the absolute perfect spot for every single person, making sure the whole community runs like a perfectly oiled machine. And when I say they're thorough, I mean thorough. Jonas himself noticed that they were watching him way more closely in his 11th year. The elders are everywhere. In the classroom, when you're playing, during your volunteer hours, they talk to your teachers. They take detailed notes. They're basically building a complete file on every aspect of your life. And you can see this system in action with some real examples. Jonas's dad remembers his friend Andre, who was always playing with construction toys and spent all his free time at building sites. So what happened? Of course, he was assigned engineer. It was the perfect fit. And for them, that's proof that the elders know exactly what they're doing. Okay, so it's not just about getting a job. The ceremony completely flips your social world on its head. I mean, the friendships you've had your entire life, they're about to change in a big, big way. And his mom just hits him with this really blunt, kind of harsh reality. Jonas is convinced that he and his best friend Asher will be friends forever, but his mom knows better. She's telling him that the end of childhood means the end of his friend group as he knows it. So, here's why that happens. Before you're 12, your whole life is built around your age group. You play together, you volunteer together, it's all shared experience. But after 12, everything revolves around your job. All your time is spent in training with your new assignment group, and those recreation hours that used to bond you with your childhood friends, they just disappear. Now, his mom tries to frame it as not just a loss, you know? She explains that you start to make these deeper connections with people of all different ages, because now you have this powerful, genuine interest in common, your life's work. Your friendships shift from being about who's near you to who's like you. All right, so let's pull back and look at the big picture here. What's the end game for this super controlled, micromanaged system of assigning everyone's future? I mean, why go to all this trouble? It all really comes down to one thing: creating a society where nobody has to deal with the stress of making choices or the fear of failure. By taking away that burden, they're aiming for perfect harmony, total predictability, and maximum productivity. Nobody ever makes the wrong choice because nobody ever gets to make a choice at all. And that leaves us with this huge, provocative question to chew on. This community has basically engineered disappointment and fear out of existence. But in doing that, they've also gotten rid of freedom. So the real question is that a trade worth making? This explainer was based on material developed by Sonam Wangdi, SJMSS. Thanks so much for watching.